Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is a shot of whiskey, and I hope that y'all enjoyed your Independence Day a couple of weeks ago. Since we in America concluded our season of celebrating freedom, I wanted to address a form of confinement that is still encouraged. Marriage. Yeah, this is another anti-MGTOW response video. However, unlike the previous one I did, this guy actually sounds like he's coming from a place of love and respect, for the most part. As such, I'm going to be much nicer to him than I was with the card dork. His channel is called Paging Mrs. Forever, a fitting name for someone who doesn't agree with being a MGTOW. Now, when I found this video about 2 months ago, he had only 3 subscribers, and this video had only 1 upvote and 26 downs. Now, let's get on with this by skipping over the boring intro for the first thing worth mentioning.
And I'm going to give you just some of the reasons why. I'm not going to go into an in-depth comprehensive view. That will be coming later. But as you can see, I want to give you some of the views here why I'm anti-MGTOW and why I believe that is the way to go.
See, he's not being a complete jerk about this. Now fast forward a bit, he brings up that the world population is about half male, half female, and that there are various family dynamics. Now let's go ahead and skip over to the first point that he tries to make.
Number one, who are you going to... The average man only lives to be 75, okay? The average woman only lives to live about 80 years old, at least in the United States, okay? I can't speak on other countries. The life expectancies vary, as you know. So who are you going to leave your legacy to, okay?
Legacy. He thinks that we need to have kids in order to pass on our skills and accomplishments. Well, that depends on what we have, doesn't it? We can pass on our money to charities or our businesses to a deserving employee. We can also have kids without marriage. I did it. I don't get how so many anti-MGTOW folks seem to think that men have to be married in order to procreate, while accepting that women can do it on their own. Plus, adoption is always available.
The MGTOW movement promotes an isolationism and separatism.
Not exactly. MGTOW is simply a philosophy around independence and self-reliance, basically being a bachelor. Yes, many MGTOW prefer to be alone, to avoid women as much as possible, but so what? Let them do what they want. What's wrong with that? You know what? Let's hear this guy out. This will be good.
And there's also very selfish into that as well.
We're being selfish? You're the one promoting a practice that involves throwing away our identity and resources for a woman, regardless of what little she offers.
And so, it promotes a selfish type of thing because it takes to take care of me first and worry about someone else later.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Even if we're going to choose to throw our lives away for a woman, what point is there in getting married and raising a family if you aren't capable of taking care of yourself and loving yourself? Fools rush in, after all.
All right, so I'll run in first and use an intimidating shout. When my shout's done, I'll need Joe to come in and use his shout, too. What do you think, Joe? Can you give me a number crunch real quick?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33. Repeating, of course.
Okay, that's a lot better than we usually do. So let's... Leroy Jenkins! Oh, my God, he just ran in. Let's go! Stick to the plan! Let's go! Let's go!
But as you can see, when we're in relationship and in community with a woman, we naturally want to take that leadership role, okay? Because...
But MGTOW doesn't want to be in such a community where we have to get married because some governing body demands it. How could you not understand that? And you want to talk about desiring leadership? That's the problem. Men don't have leadership anymore. Have you not heard of feminism or divorce courts? Anything resemblance has been, I hate to use this word, but systematically stripped from us and handed to the woman. That's why MGTOW exists. It's men who don't want to get into that death trap.
If you can't lead, if you can't take care of your own body, your temple, as a man, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, how can you expect to take care of a woman?
Exactly. And why should we take care of a woman? If we want to, fine. But if we don't want to, then why shame us for it? MGTOW is about improving and preserving ourselves and not being subjugated to the wrath of the woman and, most importantly, the legal system. Take that away and marriage won't seem as bad. But why do you oppose bachelorhood? Why attack male freedom? Do you oppose female freedom too? Or do you chant, "Go girl," when a woman says she doesn't need a man?
And lead her in the right path as she's looking towards you for guidance, for leadership. okay? Not in a control sense, but just in the sense of to take initiative sense, okay?
Do you really believe that women today think like this? No. They have no such desire to be led by you or me because they think they're above us, not equal to us. And it's all because the law and feminism has told them that this is now the case.
So the MGTOW movement says, look, women are not going to control my life and blah, 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 blah. And I get that. We're not talking about control in that sense of domineering. We're talking about the control in the sense of leadership.
The very same leadership that is dead now. Do you see the point? No, of course not. Partially because you're probably never going to see this video. Now, I did leave a comment on his channel saying that his video was filled with asininity. I'm pretty sure that's the word I used. But perhaps I should have offered a chance to have a discussion. But, oh well.
How are you going to lead as a man in community in this relationship that you desire?
But I don't desire it. That's the point. You can keep desiring it. I'm not going to try to stop you. Heck, my dad is getting married this September, and one of my childhood friends is planning on getting married sometime next year. If I'm not going to stop them, I'm not going to stop you. So don't try to stop me from enjoying my freedom. At the very least, come up with something better, okay?
And so I'm anti-MGTOW because it denies the fact that the man is supposed to be the leader, the priest, provider, protector, and the sustainer of his family and in community with his family, and lead his family to greener pastures.
No. Feminism denies these things. The legal system denies these things. MGTOW understands these two forces have taken those factors out of the relationship. Wait until you get married, your wife divorces you, and with the help of the legal system takes your kids, your money, your home, and your dignity. Will you blame MGTOW for that? If so, I'd love to hear the logic behind that.
And you can't do that alone and in isolation. I'm sorry, it's just not possible, okay?
Yes, you can. If you live in isolation, you can have all the control you want. What are you going to eat? How are you going to decorate the bathroom? What kind of pet will you get? Want a motorcycle? Where will you live? You are in control of these things. There's no woman telling you that you're wrong or threatening to take away your possessions, your children, or your soul. It's all you. You have all the control.
So, number 3, a woman helps balance us out.
I've never seen you laugh before. I don't think I like it. Cut it out! You're giving me the creeps!
You little fool.
They're strong in areas where we're weak at. Their intuition, their gut instincts, their feelings, their emotions are different. They can see things that we can't see.
Yeah, there are some things that most women tend to do better at than most men, though I don't buy that women's intuition nonsense. But let's pretend that I agreed with all of this. How does this equate to men needing to get married?
And feel things that we can't feel, and we're just about getting things done, okay, and doing things in a logical and in a rational way, which is great.
I would call their dependence on feelings to be a weakness, especially compared to our drive to get things done, as you have pointed out.
Sometimes a woman touch that can help balance us out. They can provide that loving, nurturing care for children, the elderly, etc. Okay.
Yeah, they can, but that doesn't mean they always do. And men are just as capable of caring for children, in some cases more so. Again, how does this equate to men needing to get married?
Now, Proverbs 12:4 says, "A wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a wicked wife is like decaying in his bones." Okay, so you get the coin there. You get 2 of the coin.
Why are you dragging the Bible into this? You do realize that many, possibly most MGTOW are either atheists or agnostics, right? Using the Bible as evidence for why we need to get married is about as dishonest as a feminist using a physics book to validate why period blood makes for a good source of paint.
I'm not saying that there's a woman out there that doesn't take advantage of men and blah blah blah, but at the same time, if you find that golden nugget, you better hang on to it, because
Golden nugget, huh? Well, at least he's aware that there are some bad women out there. But what he doesn't realize is that thanks to the modern society we live in, with the modern laws we have, even the golden nuggets will most likely be made out of pyrite.
I believe that everybody has a soulmate. There's multiple soulmates in this world. Maybe you haven't met him yet. Maybe you haven't met him or her yet, or maybe you have. But everybody has that person that they can relate to. and a woman.
Okay, first off, no, not everybody has a soulmate. If you're going to use the Bible as part of your argument, you'd have to acknowledge that this concept is not biblical. At least not that I've seen, but hey, I'm open to being proven wrong. And secondly, how can someone have multiple soulmates? Did I hear him right? We have multiple soulmates? Doesn't that negate the validity of the term?
So that's not an excuse for not developing yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, preparing yourself to potentially meet this person.
So, going your own way so that you can make yourself a better person, a happier person, is no excuse for not pursuing a potential soulmate who will most likely destroy your being.
And then it's up to you whether or not you guys want to get married or, live together, cohabitate. All that's up to you.
So, if you really think that, then why can't you accept that some men don't want that at all? Why is it so bad if some men don't want to get married, don't want to date? I'm still waiting for a real reason.
But that choice is made available to you, okay, my friends? So,
yeah, and we're choosing not to even bother. If you want to do it, go for it. Best of luck to you, dude. I genuinely hope that you're successful, especially since success is becoming rarer these days.
remember. Now, another thing, too, about the MGTOW movement that I'm against is that, like I said, the isolationism.
What's wrong with that?
What better than this gorgeous, beautiful woman that God has given you? Whoever she may be, wherever she's at in this world, to be your cheerleader, to be your confidant, okay? When all others are breaking loose on your job and in your school and at work, at church, at your home life, your friend's life, she is your confidant, she is your compliment, she is your helpmate.
Okay, I let him ramble on with that one, but here's the thing. First off, looks can be deceiving. Second, I'm not impressed with this specific chick you've chosen. Try something like this, or maybe this.
Yay!
Third, again, you're tying Christianity into this, and many MGTOW are not Christian. That argument is worthless here. And fourth, perhaps the most important thing, women today are not like what you think they are. Thanks to decades of feminism, women are convinced that they don't need you. They're better than you. Now, there may be that golden nugget you mentioned earlier, but they are far scarcer than you'd think. You have yet to give a valid reason for us to change our minds.
How can you deny something so pretty, so put together package, tailor made just for you, and say you're gonna be celibate or not, engage in this type of relationship that God wants you to engage in, okay?
Feminism has corrupted this. I don't get how you can't see this. Even good old church-going ladies aren't worth their salt anymore.
You have urges too. How do you deal with those sexual urges? How do you deal with those mental urges?
Sluts and porn.
When God has placed somebody in your life, this woman who's designed specifically for you, even though she may get on your nerves sometimes, or whatever the case may be, she's designed for you.
Stop using God as a talking point. Non-believers don't care what God wants.
When you meet that person, you will know, my friends, okay?
Even so, she can change. Women often do. Heck, they use their ability to change their minds as common catchphrases. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Have you never heard of that? Why would you want to get into a relationship with somebody like that? Especially since the law is almost guaranteed to side with her when she does make that change.
So do not go MGTOW. Come back to the fold.
Or go MGTOW. Care about your own well-being. And don't go back to the fold, as you call it. What you call the fold, we call the pussy plantation. Screw that. Be free.
I'm free! I'm free! Dang it!
Anti-MGTOW is where it's at.
No, it's not.
Because, once again, God designed us to be in community. He designed us to be in relationship, a man and a woman, not anything else, okay?
Okay. You want to continue to bring God into this? Fine. You asked for it. 1 Corinthians 7, verses 7 and 8. I wish that all men were as I am, but each man has his own gift from God. One has this gift, another has that. Now to the unmarried and the widows I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried, as I am. Ecclesiastes 7, verses 26 through 28. I find a woman more bitter than death. She is a snare, her heart a net, her arms are chains. No wickedness comes anywhere near the wickedness of a woman. May a sinner's lot be hers. Proverbs 21:19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman, which describes many women in today's reality. Ecclesiastes 25:16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep a house with a wicked woman, which also describes many women today. Time for a little skip. Basically, he says, don't do other men, animals, or your hand.
Some people can be celibate. Yes, I know there's people that celibate, but that's because they're trying to get closer to God. So if you're not getting closer to God, you're not doing any self-reflection, you're not using your gifts and talents to help women and help yourself, then what are you doing? You're not doing anything but just living in isolation.
Let's assume that all MGTOW accepted God. By your own testimony, some Christian men will avoid marriage for self-reflection. That's part of what it means to be a MGTOW. Our gifts don't have to be used to help women. Why would you think that? Wouldn't it depend on what our gifts are? Plus, this is between us and God. Why are you standing in our way? You also asked the question, what are you doing? Well, we're doing whatever the heck we want. Personally, I'm raising my son as a single parent while working on a novel. Some MGTOW will start and run a business. Others will go back to school, or do whatever brings them happiness and success. The point is we're living our lives instead of living for someone else.
Saying, well, I'm gonna stay in my room because all women, they hurt me. She rejected me. I'm sad now. She rejected me. She don't like me.
And now you're resorting to insults. Any respect I've had for you for trying to be a nice person is gone. You're a moron. MGTOW are not incels. MGTOW are MGTOW because we understand that the pursuit, the experience, is not worth it, and most of us learned the hard way. Many of us MGTOW have had our lives ruined. Because of how the legal system has sought to aid the woman as much as possible while screwing us, and oftentimes our children, over a barrel.
I knew it. The worst part is... You little fuckers! I hate barrels! This is why I hate you! Fuck you, barrels!
Only a dimwit would think that this is a good thing. That being with a woman is worth going bankrupt, being homeless, going to jail, and having your soul ripped out through your ass.
Look, man, I just told you there's 49.55% of the world's population is women. There is somebody for you.
And I have realized that none of them are worthy of my time, money, and resources.
For everybody, humpbacks, deaf, blind, maimed, whatever you okay, fat man, skinny man, whatever you need, there is a woman out there that can be for you and that's willing to be your helpmeet and provide and work for you.
They're called maids, nurses, and sluts, not modern day wives.
But you gotta have a positive attitude. You gotta put in the work.
Oh yeah, put in the work. Because it's never the woman's fault when she decides to cheat on you and clean your clock in divorce courts because the law doesn't care that she was the one that broke the loyalty terms in the legal marriage contract. It's our fault when the woman gets bored because we slave away at jobs so that we can give to these ungrateful leeches. It's our fault that a woman can't and won't be loyal to a man because she rode the cock carousel in her early years, had enough miles of dick run through her to make an interstate highway, and had enough zinc shots deposited in every orifice and crevice to open up her own sperm bank. It's our fault when a woman lies about being raped because they didn't get what they wanted, or won't admit to her family that she is a dirty whore, or simply because she doesn't like us. Anything else you want to pin on us? Our kids hating us because the courts have ruled that we can only see them for a few hours a month, and our exes come up with reasons to cancel the visitation, so we have to wait for another month? That we didn't know our kids were sired by someone else until one of them became a teenager, and only because they needed a marrow transplant? The rest of his video is basically more victim blaming, so I'll spare y'all the rest. I hope he'll someday realize that not every man has to go down the same path, and that the main path, the path of marriage, is suicide for a man in today's world. That's the entire point of MGTOW, And ironically enough, that's also a concept found in the Bible. Matthew 7:13 and 14. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Well, now that I'm done with my time at the pulpit, I'm going to conclude this video with a special little message.
Well, I want to talk with you about BB-8. BB-8 is a type of robot I very love, and I can play Lego Star Wars on my dad's laptop.
Thank you for sharing, son.
You're welcome, Dad.